Helen Parker sat alone in her kitchen, stirring her coffee absent-mindedly. Her eyes wandered to the window, where the spring sunshine flickered through the trees. It had been a long time since she felt the warmth of life, 10 long years, to be precise. After the death of her husband, everything had changed. The laughter, the warmth, and even the simple joy of a quiet evening at home were gone. Her son, Ryan, had moved away to pursue his career, leaving Helen in the empty house they once shared as a family. It wasn't that she didn't love her son. It was just that his absence left an ache in her heart that no amount of time seemed to heal. She had tried everything: volunteering, joining book clubs, and even learning how to bake. Yet, none of it made her feel truly alive. Then, one rainy Thursday evening, as she was preparing dinner, the doorbell rang. She wiped her hands on a towel and opened the door to find Jake Wilson standing there. Her son's best friend had been a frequent visitor in their house during Ryan's teenage years, but she hadn't seen him in ages. "Hey, Mrs. Parker." Jake greeted her with a warm smile, his deep blue eyes radiating a kind of youthful energy. "Is Ryan home? I was in the neighborhood and thought I'd drop by." Helen smiled politely, but something about his presence stirred an old feeling deep within her. A feeling she hadn't had in a long time. Life, warmth, and connection. "He's at work," she replied. "But you're welcome to stay for dinner. It's nothing fancy, just pasta." Jake hesitated for a moment, but then nodded. "I'd love to." As they sat down at the dinner table, something unexpected happened. The conversation flowed effortlessly between them. Jake shared stories from his childhood, and Helen found herself laughing at the jokes he told. There was something different about him now, something more mature, more magnetic. She hadn't realized how lonely she had been until that moment. After dinner, they moved to the living room, where they sat on the couch, sipping wine. The silence between them was comfortable, and Helen couldn't help but notice how handsome Jake had become over the years. His youthful charm was still there, but there was a depth in his gaze that hinted at the man he had become. "Mrs. Parker," Jake said suddenly, breaking the silence. "I've been meaning to ask you something for a while. I know this might sound weird, but have you ever thought about dating again?" Helen's breath caught in her throat. She hadn't expected that question. "Jake, I don't know," she said quietly. "It's been so long since I've even thought about something like that." Jake leaned forward, his eyes locking with hers. "I get it. I really do. But I just think you deserve to feel alive again. You deserve to be happy. You don't have to do this alone." Helen's heart raced. The warmth in Jake's eyes, the tenderness in his voice, made her feel something she hadn't felt in years: desire, connection, and a flicker of hope. "Jake," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly, "I've spent so long convincing myself that I don't need anyone. But maybe I do." Without thinking, she reached out and placed her hand on his. The touch sent a jolt of electricity through her. Jake didn't pull away. Instead, he leaned in closer, his lips barely brushing against hers. Time seemed to stop. Their kiss was soft at first, tentative, as if testing the waters of something neither of them was sure of. But then, it deepened, fueled by a need neither of them had expected. Jake's hand slid to the back of her neck, pulling her closer, and Helen felt herself melting into the kiss. When they finally pulled away, both breathless, Helen's heart pounded in her chest. "Jake, I don't know what to say." Jake smiled, his eyes tender. "You don't have to say anything. Just know that I care about you. A lot more than I should." Helen's mind was spinning. How could this be happening? Her son's best friend? A man half her age? But there was something undeniable between them, something real. But as the night wore on, a strange sense of unease crept over Helen. Something didn't feel right. The intimacy, the connection, was so intense, but there was a dark shadow looming at the edge of it all. It wasn't just their age difference, or the fact that Jake was Ryan's best friend. It was something deeper, something unspoken. Helen's heart ached, but she couldn't shake the feeling that there was something she didn't know. The next morning, Helen woke up alone in her bed, her mind racing. She sat up, trying to recall the events of the night before. Had it all been a dream? No, Jake had been there. He had kissed her. She felt the lingering warmth of his touch. But why had he left so suddenly? Later that afternoon, Helen received a call from Ryan. "Hey, Mom, I need to talk to you about something," he said, his voice tense. "Sure, what's going on?" she asked, her stomach nodding. "It's about Jake. I think you should know something." Helen's heart skipped a beat. She had no idea what was coming next, but she could sense that the truth was about to unravel. Suspenseful twist. Ryan's voice lowered, his words heavy with secrecy. "Jake, he's been keeping something from you. I know this might be hard to hear, but I found out that Jake is actually involved in something shady. He's been using my trust to get closer to you, but there's a reason. I don't think it's love, Mom. I think it's manipulation. Please be careful." Helen's blood ran cold. The room felt suddenly too small, the air too thick. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. Jake had seemed so genuine, so caring. But now, everything felt like a lie. Conclusion. Heartbroken and confused, Helen went to confront Jake. She found him at his apartment, his face filled with surprise as he opened the door. "Jake, what's going on? What did Ryan mean by all of this?" she demanded, her voice shaking with emotion. Jake's eyes flickered with something dark, guilt, fear, or maybe regret. But before he could answer, a man stepped out from the shadows, someone Helen didn't recognize. "Jake," the man said coldly, "I told you not to get involved with her." The man's voice sent a chill down Helen's spine. She was standing at the edge of a much larger mystery than she had ever imagined. In that moment, the weight of a situation hit her. It wasn't just about Jake or Ryan. There were secrets at play, and she was caught in the middle of something much bigger than herself. The story ends with a cliffhanger, leaving Helen in the grip of a dangerous web of lies and manipulation, unsure whether Jake truly cared for her or had been using her all along.